Pacific NorthWEIRD, Pacific NorthWEIRD.
I ended up talking to dispatchers and found out that all of the phone lines for all the police stations and the sheriff's office had lit up that night. People were calling in saying that they saw this brilliant light come down out of the sky. Everybody said it went in the same direction, and the people who were closest to Westport said that it actually made a turn in the air. My name is James Clarkson, and I've been a UFO researcher for at least 30 some years now. I've also been a professional investigator for just about that same length of time. I'm also the Washington State Director for the Mutual UFO Network. And thinking about the Westport UFO crash, I guess I have to say, starting off, it's a little bit humorous for me, because in order to tell the story, I have to admit that I had an absolutely fabulous UFO event happen less than 20 miles from where I was working, and I didn't know about it until 6 years later. And maybe that points out something about what could be going on all around us that we're not aware of. I was an Aberdeen, Washington police officer. Aberdeen is at the mouth of the Grays Harbor and Wishkah River. It's 50 miles west of Olympia on the Washington coast, and the harbor has two arms, and each one has a city at its end. To the north is Ocean Shores. To the south is Westport, Washington, which is a fishing town. What I didn't know: when you are a young police officer, you don't see much daylight. And I was a young man, a rookie with the department, and I did not take the Aberdeen newspaper. Had I taken the Aberdeen newspaper, I would have seen a headline on Monday, November 26th, 1979, that would have really got my attention. UFO crash in Elk River, ? I started talking to my fellow law enforcement officers about the fact that I was interested in UFOs. And of course, because they are terrible practical jokers and pranksters, they gave me a really bad time about little green men, and they put strange things in my locker at work. And there were all sorts of funny little things that went on. But I could take a joke, and pretty soon I was dishing it out as well as I could take it, and nobody wanted to argue with me on the subject of UFOs. And then they went one step further. People started saying, well, you know, something crashed in the hills by Westport. Something crashed down there by the Elk River Bridge, and the military came down and got it. To the best of my knowledge, the crash, everybody agrees on this, the crash occurred at 10:50 p.m. Sunday night, November 25th, 1979. This would have been the Sunday night of Thanksgiving Day weekend. I talked to loggers, this should kind of give you an idea of what it's like to live down there, who couldn't care less about UFOs, but they thought that it was really cool that they almost got in a fist fight with soldiers who were blocking the logging roads, who wouldn't let them go to work on that Monday and for a couple of days thereafter outside of that crash zone. It started off, the first witnesses were in Elma, some of them were in Central Park, and then we had a whole series of witnesses in Westport itself. I remember I eventually talked to the son of the resident deputy sheriff, who said that he was home that Sunday night and watched something coming down out of the sky. And he said that it looked like it was out of power or crashing. Other people said they thought it was on fire, but there was a lot of consistency to the description. Everybody said that it was an intensely bright light. You need to keep in mind that this is the era before cell phones. So if anybody wanted to call and report something, they either had to go to a payphone, or they had to go home and call on their landline. And yet even with that, there were many, many records of this being reported to various agencies. There was one man named Tuffy Miller who was supposedly in high school at the time of the crash, and then he was not in class for several days. And initially, he told everybody, they took my damn camera. I got up there. I saw the whole thing. Interestingly enough, according to his aunt, several of his friends, neighbors in the community, right afterwards, his parents, who owned an unsuccessful quarry, suddenly had money for a brand new pickup truck, a brand new dump truck, etc. And from that moment on, he denied that he ever went to the crash site. So this, of course, you can draw your own conclusions about that one. I have many witnesses that saw the military come into the area. I have different accounts of how they left, and I should talk about one in particular because she's probably the most important. Her name was Estella Crussell. She was able to tell me 7 years after the fact which Sunday night movie of the week was interrupted because she watched this huge craft go across her window, and she said that it was on fire, they were out of power, and they were in trouble. Her description almost made me feel like she had a psychic link to this craft as it went across the sky. And she said that it was oddly shaped and that it appeared to have glowing windows. The final statement, the only statement that was ever given by the military, was the base public information officer at Fort Lewis, when interviewed about 2 weeks later, said, "We are not guarding anything by the Elk River," which of course is a disingenuous statement because they were long gone by then. So although it was true, it's not the truth of what was going on. Well, this was an exciting project for me to complete, and obviously I would like people to take an interest in my book about the Westport UFO crash. This documents everything that I very generally explained about this important event. This is a classic UFO crash retrieval event and involves a military presence, military denial, numerous civilian witnesses, and I think that this has happened over and over again. I should also mention that the interesting thing was, at the end, I got a very surprising witness. One man had sent in a report years later that I had in my file, and I had not properly looked at it for what it was. This man's name was Alan Raymer. Joanne, my wife, knew him because he would come to the library and do programs for children on sea life from Puget Sound. So he was well known, highly respected, and it turned out that he saw UFOs not the night of the crash, but the night after. And so after I got testimony from him, this is what I called the other search party. So this case went from being a cover-up of a military mistake to being a true UFO case, and it looks like more than one type of being, shall we say, was looking for whatever crashed in the hills by Westport.
We are surrounded by woods, maybe the same woods that killed the UFO. What do you think, Alex?
I think I can feel something around here. This is definitely right in the neck of the woods where something went down. Something they don't want us to know about.
Yeah, I do get the sense that something's watching us. Perhaps it's all our millions of fans on YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna die out here.
We're here in Westport doing some field research on the 1979 UFO crash as described by James Clarkson. And we are just looking to see if we can find some people in the street who might be able to tell us something they remember, something they heard about it. Just add to the myth, the story, see if we can find the truth.
Have you ever seen a UFO in Grays Harbor?
I never have. Everybody else says they have, but I never have. So. Well,
It's because it's cloudy all the time.
Huh?
It's cloudy all the time. How are you supposed to see any UFOs?
Yeah, like.
Do you remember that old movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Oh yeah.
With Dreyfuss and all that?
Making the mashed potatoes.
Exactly. It totally, I could totally see that. Even though I was a little kid when I saw it. But you look at, I come from there, so when you see a Devil's Tower, you're like, how in the hell? So if we're talking small, minuscule state by state of that's kind of weird, or even global where the Egyptians got their pyramids lined up exactly, the Aztecs kind of knew when the leap year was, all that kind of stuff, with the hieroglyphics and the stuff that they have.
I went to the.
How are we going to know what the ocean is?
When I was young-
Atlantis, I believe in Atlantis. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, George Norris. Oh yeah.
As it was said that the military was there with the quickness, my feeling tells me that it was one of theirs, and it was a reverse they reverse engineer alien technology, and it messed up, and they were on it quick because they knew about it. And if it was I don't really feel like the genuine UFO alien technology is going to fail like that, because they have zero-point technology, and I don't think it's going to crash. I really don't. I think it's us messing with the technology we got from them, which leads me to think maybe the UFO that crashed in Roswell was also human-made, but I really don't know. But that's my feeling. You asked why were they here specifically in Westport. I think that they were just testing their shit, or sorry, their stuff, and it got messed up, and they were on it quick. I mean, you look at the time frame, all that, they're there that fast. They know something we don't, and that's that. Proof's in the pudding. Actions speak louder, don't they?
Tell me what you know about UFOs.
Right here.
All right, my name is Vaughn Johannes, former Palladian, I think, solely in my last life, and I'm gonna make up a song, per your request, talking about extraterrestrials. Well, they've been coming here all along. You want me to write a song? Most people would tell me I'm wrong, but they've been coming here all along. Pyramids we didn't build, they built that shit, it's true. Ooh yeah, from me to you. That's all I got. You want me to do some Michael Jackson?